Everybody, welcome back to Higher Density Living. We're here in a brand new studio. It's not as colorful as the old one, but it's definitely more professional, and it'll get its improvements over time. So I want to thank everybody for being patient and listening to Jason run his solos on HDL. I'm sure there was much to learn, but the dynamic duo is back here. So,
yes. Well, I think a lot of people need to understand before we literally lived in the same area, like in the sense you could walk to the studio. We both could. And then now you're about 50 minutes away.
Yeah, correct.
So moving and all that stuff.
I've made it.
And then you were gone. You went on like a caravan adventure.
Yeah, caravan around the U.S. Caravan breaks down. Moved to Florida.
Yes.
Moved back to New Mexico.
Too many alligators.
Yeah. Too much moving.
Yeah. I think I was watching the flood stuff in Florida. Then I was watching those. Did you see those? How the governor there had like all of the, I mean, I'm not talking politics here, but he had all like the linemen all ready to go. And there was like 200-300 white trucks just ready. And then they had to be like the minute the storm.
OT, baby.
Yeah. They were just
gotta make that OT.
Exactly. He was
hazard pay.
Yeah. Speaking of that, to get pay.
First of all, beyond the pay. Hold on a second. Yeah.
I want to explain this behind it.
When are people going to wake up and get it? How many hurricanes where the flooding has to absolutely just destroy the towns and realize that the sea level, it's not the fact that the sea level has raised a little bit. It's during a storm surge because it's been pre-raised by the climate. That when the storm comes and they're more severe, that it's just going to wipe more stuff out.
Right, yeah.
You can't pump the ocean away.
No. Yeah, and I think whenever we look at, and we talk about that with Tardo, climate stability.
Yeah.
Whenever we look at specifically not just hurricanes, but whenever you look at temperatures that are rising and then the oceans that are rising, they've already proven that. I mean, as that ice is melting in the Antarctic, and then they have those levels, but people don't realize Florida's gone. If it's like a half inch,
the whole place is an Everglade.
Yeah, well, Miami's gone anyways.
I don't honestly. I don't. They're fighting
that place is
battle here.
Yes, yeah. That place is. They have that Netflix documentary of how they built stuff like real shoddy.
Yeah,
you know, like the one kid last year, whatever, just crumbled.
Yeah, and killed
a bunch of people. Yeah. It's just everybody was just hyped up on coke, just building
stuff. You know,
and then everybody moved there. Like everybody's moved to Florida. Over the Texas and Florida, everybody went there.
Nobody wants to pay taxes.
Yeah, that's what it. That's what it.
So all of our international HDL listeners, if you want to learn something over here in the United States, so you work and you get taxed on your money, upwards of 50%, and then when you go to buy things, you're also taxed again on the thing you're purchasing.
Yes,
and if someone pays you, that money gets taxed before you even receive it.
Any exchange
is taxed. So you're taxed on your taxed.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. And you could be taxed on the same item that you purchased.
Yeah.
Any type of exchange. So you buy a car, that car can get taxed 10 times.
10 times.
If 10 different people buy that car.
So if you're wondering about what the biggest scam on planet Earth is, it's called the IRS.
Yeah. And they just hired thousands of more agents.
Yeah. Why?
To do audits.
In person.
You know, they tax us
in-person audits.
Yeah. They taxed you and then. Yeah, it's a scam.
It's a scam. It's pretty obvious.
Let's get into another scam.
Oh, you want to talk about other scams?
I want to talk about, well, number one, people need to realize AI, artificial intelligence, it's coming on the scene, but it's not as powerful as the movies make it out to be. Or you're not going to have, I was watching the language one on Google. Not the GPT-3, but their
open AI.
Yeah, the language one that they have that kind of learns as you're.
Yeah, it's a natural language processing algorithm.
And it's still like not that AI's got a ways to go before we have her, where you know you have Scarlett Johansson talking to you and you're falling in love with.
Yeah, it's a little foldy thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what the miss is with AI? Let me tell you. People don't fundamentally understand how the brain works. They understand it in the material sense, but they don't understand the laws of this cosmos or this creation that actually govern how your brain functions and your consciousness. So what we're trying to do is, for so long as we've taken old models designed in the 50s for how neurons fire in the brain, and we've tried to reproduce that into how the AI reversely propagates an algorithm. So what that says is it's going to take an output or an input,
right?
Run it through, and then go back and ask the person if this was the appropriate thing.
That makes sense.
And then within this range, it's going to go back and keep retraining itself.
Yeah, no.
Guess what? Stuff doesn't work like that.
No, and I think what's really important with that is understanding when you're looking at consciousness, that can't be duplicated, because this is where I was getting into, because that one Google engineer turned around and said, that he believes it's sentient now because it was responding to him in a way, but people don't understand. It looked at his social media. It knew that he was like a Wiccan priest. It knew that and then it looked at everything. You got to imagine this thing is so smart, and this is an ex machina. It did the same thing. It even made its face to look like the pornography that the guy was looking at.
But that's
cataloging. To find the most. Yes, that's all it is.
When
people don't understand
sentient,
that part.
When it has zero data,
yes,
and it can learn.
Yes.
When it has nothing. When you have an AI system that has zero input, and then it just starts to develop essentially cells.
Right.
And then those cells go through mitosis. And then it grows this huge brain organism where the thing's just thinking and acting on its own.
Well, I mean, how many years have dogs been with us and they're not like fully conscious?
No, they're not.
They're adapting slowly.
Yeah.
But
how long have we had cows? They're adapting. Horses.
Yes.
How long have humans have bond with wolves? Still.
Yeah.
The things aren't walking around smoking cigars having a conversation.
Or deciding like, well, I want my my room, that my dog bed that I've been giving, I want this blanket and I want this pillow because I like this one's more creative.
Do you know when something's sentient? When it's walking around, can physically interact with you, and it has thoughts, feelings, and emotions.
Yes, yes.
Emotions are hormonal triggers. So when your AI has the ability to fire neurons dependent on these artificial hormones, and then develop feelings off of those emotions, and then propagate new thoughts to manage those things.
Right.
Now you have something sentient. But how is it that you think that the base model for what AI is right now on this planet, and people think it's so forward, we can't figure out ourselves? We have such a mental health issue. What makes you think we can design systems that are sentient when we don't even know how to manage ourselves?
Yeah. Well,
Am I wrong?
Brain scientists and neurologists turn around and say, we don't even know even 1% of the brain. So how are we adapting?
So we're going to go create AI models that are sentient?
Well, no, they're just
sentient
copying.
In what sense? A cockroach?
It's just machine learning, taking a bunch of information and then feeding what you want.
That's it.
That's all it is. And you can make a her.
Go ahead.
You can make something that can tell you, that knows all your triggers and can make you feel good. But that's you feeling that emotion.
Yeah.
Her's not feeling shit. Like in the Ex Machina, she was like, I'm locking you in this door forever.
Yeah, like what sort of catalyst are you giving back to this AI system
Yes.
that makes it feel something that would otherwise change how it would operate? None of those things have that.
No, none.
You can't hurt the thing.
No.
It doesn't have a culture. It doesn't have a community of AI that it bonds with.
Not at all.
If there was a community of AI and I went and I killed one of them, okay, one of these AI things, these sentient beings, and the rest of the community got pissed off, now it's sentient. Now we have a problem.
But they would look at it as risk.
Yeah, that's
risk to reward. So it would be like, how do we protect the system? But that's all logical, like in the sense of mechanical, and that's not. They're not like, there's no mourn of loss. There's no.
They're not looking at a painting and be
like Bill AI, he's gone.
Yeah,
they're like, we need to look.
Yeah.
But they'll back him up. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, he just passed away. Make another,
reboot.
I mean? Yeah, reboot. Oh, my child is having mental issues. Reboot.
Yeah, it's like, we'll kill the child. That's
just get rid of it, make a new one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anything that shows weakness.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I think, really important. And in the next episode, we're going to get into gray aliens.
Oh, now then you want to get into what we want to
talk gray about. Aliens. Yeah. But I think this is really important because whenever you look at evolution and creational laws, and you look at artificial intelligence, it's totally separate. Like it could evolve into something of that nature, but you're not aligning creational laws with AI.
No, you're not. And that's the fundamental issue.
Right.
That's what I was saying. People don't understand themselves and what actually allows them to exist. So how are you going to make something new that you think is sentient and existing?
Right.
If you have absolutely no grasp, fundamental, basic law grasp on what allows you to sit here and be here at this moment.
Yeah, having that self-awareness. Yeah, like an AI is not going to have self-awareness where it can talk to you about self-awareness.
Right.
And that's where this guy, he's like, well, what do you feel like if you're conscious or do you feel like you're self-aware? He was asking these questions to the AI and the AI was like, yeah, sometimes I'm afraid.
Afraid of what?
But it doesn't, it's repeating things back.
No. And then
in a language that
he needs to ask the question, what does afraid feel like? What does that feel like to you?
Right.
You have to pose it. It's like you have no physical body.
Right.
You emit no hormones or stimulus. What does afraid feel like? How can you actually feel what that catalyst is?
Well, it's read all the web pages on fear, and it's read hundreds of thousands of books on fear. Because we're not realizing the amount of information that an AI has absorbed.
Yeah, but think about that.
So it can spew out. It has so much knowledge with it's no just like a library.
Knowledge without experience.
It's a library that's sitting there that is a little bit more 3D.
That's it.
But the books have no consciousness.
How many people have you met? Remember the old saying, "Oh, the person's book smart, but they're not street smart."
Yes, 100%.
How far does that take you?
Yes.
Who's the first one to fade out? Book smart. Every time. Welcome to society.
Yes.
And I just when I think about AI and when people kind of receive this stuff and the public hears about it, just understand we are so far behind. And don't really focus.
Yes.
Don't even worry about it. Don't focus on it. Don't even put any fear to it, because you can have fear because you're not an AI.
It's not Terminator.
No, not even remotely.
Not in your
close.
lifetime or your kid's lifetime.
No, you won't see it.
The only thing that's going to AI can be beneficial, and we deal with this, in our technology company with machine learning, is it's going to help you to be able to suggest restaurants.
Yeah, it
Things
can do
like that.
work for you that you don't want to do.
Yeah, it can help you. It can read all your emails, get your language down, and help you. You can be able to, it's like the dragon thing. Remember that, where you could speak into something?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, Apple's new update is amazing. Like, I could literally sit here right now and
Just
hit the
dictate
record,
Yeah.
and it'll dictate perfect.
Yeah,
Like everything we just said.
It's amazing.
That's machine learning AI working. That's the type of things we're going to see. Not a sentient being deciding who to kill and not kill.
Yeah, like busting open the door, or like actually like liquid metal coming through the door.
Yeah, we're not going to have like a Russian AI just shoot nukes off. We got more worries with Putin than we do.
No, that's exactly correct. And AI has always been designed for efficiency and mass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how much can it take in and how fast can it process? That's it. But it's not creating little robot babies. It's not going around, giving health outcomes to people. Like all these firms that even come out, like ones that deal with AI and like delivering benefits to people with mental health, it still drives them to a provider, because nobody, no matter how good they think their AI is, would allow it to make the decision for someone else. We've talked about these issues before.
Yes.
Remember we talked about, there was that one talking to all the college kids, but the college kids were putting in all these bad inputs and it was driving other kids to go to suicide. They were having conversation with it.
Yes.
So these things don't have proper checks and balances. They don't have a value for life, a reverence for it. There's no sense of striving. And once that sense of striving exists, now you have sentient AI.
But that's a long time out. Just a teaser. Next episode, we're going to talk about Galactic Federation's AI.
Oh, I love Galactic Federations.
We'll talk about alien AI. They're a little bit ahead of us.
I think they're a little bit ahead, a couple million years ahead of where we are. Not only in the technology, but understanding themselves. And before we close out, we would like to thank two of our sponsors here today on Higher Density Living. The first one would be Tartle. Tartle is a global data marketplace that allows you to take back power and control of your data and share it to enterprises, and they pay you for that sharing. I got the power.
Isn't that like a getting kind of?
Yeah.
It's like an old 90s song.
I love that. Absolutely love that. And then we'd like to thank our other sponsor, Quality Mazda NM, Quality Mazda of New Mexico.
Yes.
You can come in for the most educational car purchasing process, and they can ship to anyone in the Colorado, New Mexico, and Texas area. And we would like to thank them for being a longtime sponsor here of the Higher Density Living podcast. And for all of our listeners, we will see you on our next episode.